Welcome, everybody, to the latest instalment of our London Interviews podcast. And I'm delighted to welcome Eldib Advocates to today's show, and looking forward to having a conversation with them. And Eldib Advocates is Egypt's oldest maritime and commercial law practice. For a century and a half, the firm has advised P&I clubs, ship owners, terminals and insurers throughout the Mediterranean and Red Sea corridors. Today, its 70 lawyer network spans Alexandria, Cairo, Port Said and Suez. And at the helm is managing partner Hisham Eldib, whose career covers 3 decades of casualty, charter party and trade litigation, while business director Nada Eldib drives strategic growth and international partnerships. And looking forward to touching on those points. Together, they honour a proud heritage while guiding clients through a rapidly modernising Egyptian port and shipping sector. Hisham and Nada, welcome. I hope I've got the introduction right there, and it's a delight to see and to speak to you today.
Thank you so much for having us, Sean. Really, thank you. It's our absolute pleasure, and we're very happy to be part of such a monumental time in London, as well as a milestone for our law firm.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much. And thank you for your support on London International Shipping Week. As you may know, we have a global hub going on throughout LISW in September, and we're talking with the Egyptian government and the Suez Canal Authority. They're looking to bring over a delegation, so we're going to have a very, very strong Egyptian presence there as well. So it's going to be a very, very exciting week as well. And but we're looking forward to catching up with you and your colleagues during LISW in September. Before we start, could you just talk to me a little bit about Eldib Advocates? I mean, you're Egypt's oldest maritime and commercial law practice. What areas of operation are you and law are you specialising in? And what are the sort of opportunities and challenges that you're looking at in your region at the moment?
So it is a very challenging time, as you can tell, a time where you can't really plan the next day. But what we do as a law firm, we've been around, as you mentioned, since 1875. So a lot has changed over the years and decades. And we've been predominantly specialized in anything that has to do basically with the sea, with maritime. So we've done everything from the litigation to the arbitration, as well as providing commercial assistance to P&I clubs, as well as to owners.
We're always on the owner's side. We've never been on the cargo side. We're keen to be on the owner's side only.
Yes, and we've been doing so now for generations. Our office, I have to say, has dealt with everything you can imagine, very simple matters. We've also have gotten great experience with things such as pollution claims, issues with the canal, as you mentioned. You name it, we've seen it, we've dealt with it. Obviously, with the change of time and the change of regulations, sometimes we have to readjust how we approach a claim. But we've been able to do that, and I have to say our firm has set a lot of precedent, and we continue to do so. We've even started to do so more often with matters with container vessels, which is still not even defined in our laws, something that was recently defined in the new customs law. So we try to even push the change there.
Now, before we come on to talking a little bit about sort of, Egypt and the role there and your role in driving forward the sort of strength of the Egyptian maritime cluster, the Red Sea has been in the news a lot, obviously, with the geopolitics and the whole issue there, with a lot of ships sort of now going around the Cape of Good Hope and what have you. What impact has that had? And, with developments at the moment, are you looking to see more trade coming back through the Red Sea now? What's the sort of situation?
We're hoping that the trade's coming back because the Suez Canal is giving a lot of incentive to ship owners to come through the canal again. So we're hoping that it will be catching up soon.
And like you saw today, as we said, everything changes. There's discussions of a ceasefire with regards to Iran and Israel. So hopefully that brings down a bit the level of the region. But I have to say, our location is quite a unique location, Egypt. So when we had the slowdown of trade in the Red Sea, you saw an uptick of trade in the Mediterranean. You saw your Mediterranean ports, which we have a lot of. Egypt has put a lot of money in the construction of new ports, developing them with a lot of terminals. Those all started to work a lot more. You saw a lot more capacity coming in there, more of transit hubs. And I think that's one of the goals that Egypt has, is to become more of a player in the region. So when one door closes, another opens, but we would like all our doors to be open, obviously. And we do hope that the Red Sea does calm down, because our opportunity there is immense.
I mean, Egypt has an amazing maritime heritage there, as you say, with the canal. And I've had a number of conversations with the Suez Canal Canal authorities over the years, and amazing how even with the expansion of the Suez Canal that was done recently as well over recent years, but the potential there's huge, isn't it, for Egypt as a cluster? Could you sort of put it into perspective as to what when you look at the potential evolution of Egypt, international shipping, what's the potential there?
The potential is immense, but there needs to be, we would say, a bit more alignment with the international community, which I have to say our government is moving towards. But we have to be very careful in doing that, because if we take 3 steps forward, there needs to be a lot of groundwork that has to happen first. We're a very large country. There is a lot of people involved in the industry. Not a lot of people might know how things move forward, especially with the changes in technology. So I think that is a large investment that the government is doing now. Once that has reached a certain potential, I think we become an even more pivotal player, but I think that will take some time. We've already seen that with certain regulations, but I think we need a bit more time.
Because obviously you then look at the influence it has on legal work to do with transit routes or trade, compliance and what have you. You talk about how Egypt needs to then align itself more internationally. Could you give us a bit more of an insight into that? I mean, what probably needs to be done and what the opportunities are there for companies like yourself? Or Hisham, yes.
We do represent the Alexandria Chamber of Shipping, which is considered the main chamber of shipping in Egypt. And we're working with the authorities on regulations and everything to enforce a lot of new regulations. For example, we're looking into the e-bills of lading recently. For the customs authority, we're working with the AICD,
which is an international system set by the World Customs Organization.
Okay.
So this has been implemented already in Egypt, and it's working. It's doing a lot of things with the government to improve the...
Yeah, and basically it's twofold. We have to have new regulations in place, and we need the recognition by the courts. So recognition of these new regulations, or basically the new industry norm.
So we're setting new precedents with the court. This is the issue here.
Yeah.
We're working on that in our firm to set new precedent with the courts.
Okay. And the sort of really going back over we talk about the 150 years that your company has been in operation for. There must have been some key milestones, really, when you look at maritime legal practice over the years. But how have they shaped your company and the way that your firm's identity and global partnerships? Because partnerships are very, very important. And we're sort of building on that through our questioning here.
So just I'll give you a bit of a timeline of how it started. Our firm originally started with 2 partners in 1875.
It was a British lawyer and a French lawyer. It was Icar and Moss at that time. Then I can tell you the time frame of it. We started in 1875 with the British solicitor and a French lawyer. There was a new era in 1921, which was the firm had changed the name to Katsiflis and Booth. I'll tell you something. We always change the name with the working partner, because in Egypt you have to work not like the UK. You stay with the name. You have to the working partner has to show the name of the working partners. Yeah. So it's always changing the name with the working partners. So in 21 we've changed the name from Ikara Mos to Katsiflis, and in 31 we've changed from Katsiflis and Lati. In 49 we've changed to Katsiflis and Abdel Hadi. Here is the third generation of our firm, because Abdel Hadi is my grandfather. So we just joined 49. He joined the firm in 49 because at that time was the abolishing of the mixed courts, and he was the first fully Egyptian lawyer to join the firm at that time.
Wow.
So, and I'm the third generation.
Well, brilliant. Congratulations. I mean, you must be very proud.
My father joined the firm in the 50s. So, and that's how it comes in.
And a little fun fact, we stayed in the same office.
Same building
since 1875 till 1997.
We moved to another building in 1997.
That's amazing, isn't it? To have that heritage going through and that you can actually trace it, and something to be very, very proud of. And Nada, you coming into the business now as well and developing that side of it.
Nada has another role in another firm which is connected to us, which is the P&I commercial side. She's taking care of that.
So we do a lot of the insurance claims, and we do a lot of the surveying, but also you had mentioned the compliance. We represent the Maritime Anti-Corruption Network in Egypt. We're the collective action partners, and I have to say we've done a lot of work with authorities, such as the Suez Canal Authority, and now we're collaborating with the Ministry of Transport. So hopefully we're bringing the more of the international understanding of how compliance needs to go. And I have to say, all these governmental authorities are extremely, first resistant, obviously, but then once they understand the mechanism of how things work.
They want to join now.
Yes.
Brilliant.
They see the potential. They see that this is a positive thing for Egypt, both on a PR front, but also commercially. If you are aligned with more of what the international community wants, more will come.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now you got 70 lawyers within the firm. I mean, that's a significant number of lawyers there.
It's a mix of lawyers and paralegals.
Yeah. And you're spanning the sort of ports of Alexandria, you've got Cairo, Port Said, and Suez as well. So the sort of insurance claims, are you talking about sort of incidents in port, probably to do with cargo?
Before the containerization of the cargo, we had a lot of general cargo. We can say it's a golden era of the claims at that time for us as lawyers, because, there were a lot of claims during the general cargo. There was damages and a lot of damages to cargo, losses to cargo. This is what happened before the containerization.
And now?
Now with the containerization, we see new sorts of claims, not the usual we used to see.
Yeah, and I have to say, you said certain claims. There are a few milestone claims. We've had a few massive pollution claims in the canal as well as in the Red Sea. You see a lot of claims in the Red Sea also have to do with damage to reefs, which is a big discussion.
Coral reefs, yeah.
Yes, to coral reefs. And one of the latest, which had a lot of international acclaim, was the Ever Given.
Well, of course. I mean, doing a little bit of a focus on that for a minute or so. And what was your involvement on that? I mean, and the interesting thing was, it was the first time that the global population, were able to focus in on shipping. And as usual, it's because their televisions were late or whatever they'd ordered from the Far East and what have you. What was your involvement?
We were Suez office, worked very hard on this. They were involved. They were daily there with the authorities and in court, following up on everything. As you know, in the end, it was settled out of court. It was not settled through court.
The biggest burden was on the owners of the vessel at that time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So even though we were called by the owners, but it was just a few minutes after we got appointed by the charterers. So unfortunately, we were unable to work on.
What lessons have been learned from that Ever Given? Because it was a strange situation, the wind and everything or whatever caused it. But what lessons have been learned, would you say, from a transit, from a sort of industry point of view?
Well, we still see a lot of smaller claims happening. I think it
was something, a failure in the system or something.
And it was also, like you would say, a domino effect of bad coincidences all at once. But we understand that there is no clear recording that has been released on what was happening on the vessel. But we do know that the weather was not the best condition. We do know that this particular spot in the canal is not an easy part to pass.
What the Suez Canal did after that they've doubled the waterway in that area.
Specifically that area. And also, it was unfortunate that the tugs at the time were all on the north side of the vessel rather than the south side, making it a lot more difficult for the dislodging, which took a bit of time, I have to say, for others to come in to the south to assist. Overall, I think the canal handled that side of the claim quite well. And how quickly they did it, because initially people were saying it was going to take weeks, maybe months.
It only takes a week.
It took a week, so that was
only for 6 days. It was really a very good job.
We have to commend them for that. What happened later on was something that I think they've learned from as well, how basically the case unfolded. But these claims happen daily. I think they now know how fast they need to react.
They have faster reactions now with any sorts of failures from vessels. They deal with it directly now, very quickly.
And they've also have a larger fleet to assist them in doing so. So it was a big learning curve, one with a lot of international eyes on it, but it was a positive one, I think, in the end.
And the thing is, when you get a situation like that, now I'm in communications, I'm in PR and event organizing, but it's funny when the whole world, as you say, all the eyes are looking on that particular thing, you've also got to have a good comm strategy to ensure that the right narrative and the right messages are getting out and what have you. But, shipping is very agile and we get through it and it continues to do a great job.
I have to say the one positive thing is that our firm does a internship program every summer.
Yeah.
And post Ever Given, there was a lot more law students interested in maritime law. than prior.
That's not even with low students, even with low firms in Egypt, they started being interested in maritime.
So it was very niche pre Ever Given, post Ever Given. I think everyone realized, number one, the importance of maritime trade, the role of the canal, and actually how interesting maritime law is. It's not, everyone finds it maybe boring and they're more into criminal law, but once you learn that maritime today is a different type of case, it becomes a more interesting
You learn
field.
new things every day in maritime. You learn a lot of things every day.
Well, I think you're right, Hashim, because there's so many aspects involved, and everything is different, and we find the same in our side. We might still be talking about seafarer shortages or pollution claims or the rest of it, but then you've got big issues like digitalisation, AI, the impact of global geopolitics, and Hisham, you're right. It's a fascinating industry to be in, maritime.
I'm being in this since 1983, but I'm learning every day still.
Yeah, no, I can fully understand that. I want to have just a couple of minutes really looking at sort of port reforms within Egypt as well, and I think this is because there are efforts, aren't there, to combat corruption and modernise operations and what have you. I mean, I was quite interested to see when they had the widening of the Suez Canal or the expansion of the Suez Canal. And I sat down a couple of years ago with the CA, the Suez Canal Authority, and they told me about it. And I said, I didn't even know you were doing it. It was amazing and what they had achieved. But talk to me about the efforts to combat things like corruption and modernise operations in Egyptian ports.
You see, the government really is taking care of all the infrastructure of all Egyptian ports. They are doing their utmost to modernize all the Egyptian ports. A lot of new terminals have been built in Egyptian ports. A lot of expansions to the Egyptian ports. We're seeing that the government is doing a good job really in the infrastructure of all the Egyptian ports recently.
They've also done a very good job also of bringing in international players to run these terminals.
A lot of international players are in the Egyptian market running the terminals there.
Yeah, and that brings in the international standard. That also brings in a lot of these international operators already have long-standing partners from around the world, so it brings in also their tonnage to call Egypt. So
the terminals which are coming in these days are getting with them the lines to be partners with them in the terminals, which will help in getting more cargo into the terminal.
That's we're seeing on the infrastructure front. With regards to compliance, bringing down or making the window smaller for issues of corruption and things like that, there is a really strong push for digitization. We're seeing that. It started with the customs. It started with the implementation of the ACID, which is through a portal called Nafiza. And then it started with different types of payments. If you were doing any sorts of payments for claims or whatnot in any authority in Egypt, not specifically maritime, you could have done it via cash, and there was a lot of movement of cash. Now, for you to do that, you actually have to pay an additional 10%. So it's always... So the incentive is for you to use either cards or transfers. So it is
a lot of bank transfers now, which is better, of course.
Yes.
And it makes a lot of sense for safety, for better foreign exchange rates and everything like that, doesn't it? There's a lot of benefits to it.
Most definitely, yes. We're seeing that. With regards to regulations, this is the part that is still being worked on. And like we mentioned, advocates are the lawyers are the legal counsel of the Alexandria Chamber of Shipping. So through that, we get all the concerns and we're able to then discuss it and see what is the best way to approach it from a regulatory standpoint. We did that with the new customs law that came out a few years ago, and we're starting to do that now with this initiative of electronic documents.
One thing on the sort of Egyptian cluster, and we keep coming back to this point, are you seeing sort of growth opportunities in the cluster there? Because the good thing about the Suez Canal is you've got the potential to have businesses all the way down the canal itself. Panama did that with a Panamaization program, to bring in dry docks and bring in whatever, ship suppliers or whatever it may be. Is that something that's happening in Egypt within
the Suez Canal Economic Zone, which a lot of companies now are opening in that area, getting some benefits in working in that area.
There's also a few other, like you said, with dry docks, there is, I think, one that's already been established. There's also They're also wanting to promote yachts moving from the Mediterranean to the Red Sea. So they've also done smaller...
They've done a fixed rate for the transit.
Yes, fixed rates for transit, as well as they've done a little marina for them to stop on the way. Seeing that in the past we were not a bunkering hub, but now 2 bunkering licenses have been issued, one in the north side, one in the south side, for 2 international companies, whom I think will be there in London. So you're seeing that they are taking more of a commercial approach to the canal, and
special zones for industrial zones in that area,
which are helping basically cargo go onto vessels quicker.
Brilliant, isn't it? Absolutely brilliant. Because, I mean, it's just opportunity, isn't it? I think once you also then start to see the flow of trade coming back through the Suez Canal, the Red Sea, then the potential is going to be massive there, really.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Absolutely. And just finally, really, looking to the future, I mean, 150 years is amazing, and you must be so proud. But obviously, we're all investing for the future as well, and we're looking how we can grow our businesses, and you'll be doing the same, I'm sure. But you've got digitization going on. You've got a lot of innovation going on. How are you preparing? How are you growing the business in that respect? And how are you preparing for the next generation of maritime talent coming through? Because they're going to have different demands, aren't they? The younger generation coming through.
Very much different demands, and I think the speed of how they have to work will be completely different than maybe 30 years ago because of the technology available. So with regards to legal AI, it's a very hot topic, and there's a lot of players in the market. The upside is that it's moving fast, and there's a lot of investment in legal AI, so there are a lot more opportunities. However, when it comes to our region, the language still falls short. With Arabic, for instance, Egypt, the language is Arabic, the courts are in Arabic, everything's in Arabic. So that is, I think, the one thing I would hope for more people to invest in. We've already been shopping around for the best type of platform that would work for our firm. Yeah. There are a lot of US and UK platforms. In the Middle East, not so much yet, even though Egypt basically is the heart of all the GCC laws. All are based from Egyptian laws. It's still not the main topic that people are interested in. Obviously, the US and Europe are more profitable than this region, but let's hope that the language, once there is more with Arabic, it becomes easier for us to utilize. But there are some people that we are already talking to have our own system in the office, just to make things easier, specifically on the tedious work that would have taken you maybe 2-3 days. It can bring down that time, both the lawyers as well as for the client, because at the end of the day, billables are what your clients are looking at, and you have to be very careful with that. Also, small mistakes that you might have missed, obviously AI wouldn't once you provide it with the right information. And we have to start training our young lawyers with regards to that. And also something that we find very, very important, it might not be technology, but it has to be language. So we find that as a lawyer in Egypt, speaking 2 languages might not be enough because of all the international trade that goes on. So we are really keen on always having our lawyers be fluent in more than 2 languages if possible. But when you speak to your clients in their mother tongue, they're more comfortable. They feel at home. We have Greek speakers, we have Turkish speakers. Most of our team is Francophone, so they speak French. So it makes it easier, and we hope to continue that. We don't want people to rely on just using the internet and things like that. Also, the personal touch with your clients has to continue. You can't really push that away. I think that's very important.
And I think what you say there, Nada, I think is important with the personal touch. You're starting to see that really coming back into global shipping, post-COVID. We're all on Zooms and Teams meetings, and now there's a real enthusiasm to come back onto...
We were always used to visiting our clients all around the world, especially in the UK, which is all the insurers and shipping companies are based so we used to visit a lot.
And it's important to do that, I have to say. Technology is great in making things faster.
But a face-to-face meeting is better.
Oh, I totally agree, Hisham. I totally agree with what you're saying. And that sort of brings us on to LISW.
The generation which is used to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, I totally agree. I mean, when you're there with a client or with a business associate, and you maybe have a coffee or a lunch or a business meeting, and you can really, progress the meeting in a more positive way, I think, face to face, than you can do over the internet and the online. We've got London Shipper Week coming up in September. How excited are you for the week? Well, what are you going to be getting out of the week? What's your sort of plans?
Yes, we're really keen. We have our event actually on the first day. It's a very interesting discussion about geopolitics and trade and Egypt's role in that. Our panelists are quite strong. We have people from the legal background, the P&I background, as well as ship management. So it's a very, very diverse panel. We hope to kickstart the week with that, but obviously we do want to have time to come to the hub. We want to be able to attend other events as well. We always do so. And actually, one of the reasons we got in touch with London International Shipping Week is when we went last time, we felt like there should have been more international presence. And that's why we said, then we should try and throw our hats in the ring and be there to show that Egypt still plays a vital role in the maritime industry.
Yeah, I mean, I think the international side is very, very important. And I know that London is a destination for people in shipping. They work with the lawyers here or the arbitrators, and I'm sure you work with them as well.
For us, it's the main destination.
Yeah, but I think what we've been doing for this instalment of LRSW is working very hard to bring in more international delegations, and we'll have about 30 international delegations coming in. Working with governments and what have you, so bringing in ministers and trade and attaches and companies as well. So, and that's one of the reasons for the global hub as well, to really sort of focus attention. The UK government is also inviting in 15 to 17 international delegations as well. So it's exactly what needs to really happen, and we continue to do that. But I just wanted to say thank you so much indeed for your time today. It's a delight to speak to you, and thank you very much for your support for LRSW. And it's going to be really good to come along to your event on the first day and to meet you, and also I think have you contribute to the blue sky thinking that's going to be going on as far as LRSW is concerned. But I just wanted to say thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Sean, for your time. Thank you for all of the team of LSW for all your support through the entire process. I have to say it has been quite smooth and easy. And we very much look forward to the week in September, and we're always happy to help and support.
Being in September.
It's going to be here before we know it. It's one of those things. But we'll make sure we have nice weather. That's the key thing.
Well, we
get
hope
the sun
so.
with us from Egypt.
Exactly. But Hisham and Nada, thank you very much indeed for your time today. I do appreciate it.
Thank you so much.